تمشي بترجع وحدة وساعتها بشتغل فندلة بحن ليها عايش عليها مفيش يعني معرفتها عمري كان وعشمت كل الذكرى اسمه حياة دماغي فيها مليون شريط ماضي قديم متدونة أنا كنت عايز أشرح حاجة توديني لحاجات وفي السجن أنا مش كبير وشعري أسود زي ليل وقلبي ما بيعد طويل ما فيهوش هروب من الذكريات ليه مش بفكر عمري بتوه ليه ماليش في حلم بترسمه بسرح بلاقي الذكرى بس وفيها بلا يوم يمس خيوم ده اللي بتعيشه الذكرى واخداني مكان أيام زمان وقت الفرح وقت الهنا أنا وسط بكرة ماليش وجود في الذكرى بس بكون أنا أرجع في عمر كان سنة بسنة أنا بأمانة علي البيع وقدام ده أنا أحلى مسلة ممكن وعشان كده أنا من هناك أنا بنتمي للذكريات وماليش مكان بينكم هنا بسرع وأتوه الذكريات وبعيش حياة وهي اللي فات أشخاص أماكن كل شيء حاجات توديني لحاجات أسرح وأتوب.
أهلا وسهلا بكم سيداتي سادتي. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Get Informed with Waji. Today, we have a very important space. I welcome everyone again. We are hosting the Say Her Name campaign, Eden Nights, a transgender Saudi woman who has been an amazing person for a lot of people, has been a positive impact in her community, a positive impact in society, and yet the Saudi government could not allow such a free soul to roam the world and explore herself as a transgender woman. They lured her and uh, stopped her from being able to take any of her medications. They forbade her from uh, continuing her transition and forced her to go back to the kingdom where she spent the last of her days trying to tell the world that she is not going out quietly. Today, we're hosting a space in the name of Eden Nights where we honor her, honor her memory, honor her presence, and honor her death by demanding justice for Eden, by understanding what happened to Eden is not an anomaly, it's a constant that's happening every day and has been happening every day for members of the LGBT community from Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, specifically Gulf nations. Uh, we have been receiving plenty of attacks and plenty of hatred toward the LGBT community for a very long time. And for the first time in a very long time, that hatred is being presented on a global scale where the world can see and understand that there is systematic oppression and chronic kidnapping for members of the LGBT community, even when they are successful in getting out of the country and applying for asylum or finding a safe haven. There are many examples of Saudis who have been lured and kidnapped or have had attempts of luring and kidnapping by the Saudi government. We know the very famous story of Suhail Yusuf Al Yahya, a queer member of the LGBT community who was lured and uh, to the kingdom of Saudi Arabia when he posted a picture of him wearing a short shorts and appearing a little flamboyant. That wasn't okay with the Saudi government. That wasn't okay with the family that has raised him. So they told him that his mother is dying and he needs to return as soon as possible. Then, when he arrived in Saudi Arabia, they arrested him based on parental disobedience, appearing like women, public taste, and cyber information. They sentenced him for 3 years in prison and 800 lashes. It was only a few months ago that he was able to get out of Saudi prison, and yet he is not allowed to leave the kingdom. He escaped one prison only to live in another. And today we have to learn and we have to expose the systematic oppression, the systematic kidnapping, the systematic hatred toward the transgender community in Saudi Arabia. We are here to say her name, Eden Knights, and to let the world know that Eden was an amazing human being. Eden had amazing friends that had a huge influence in her community. She was loved. There were people that looked up to her as a role model. There are people that have so much respect for her. Yet, this beautiful person was taken away from us just because of transphobia, just because of a family not willing to accept its child as they are, because a family doesn't know or understand unconditional love. We see another soul going away, yet we won't forget her. Eden Nights is a symbol for LGBT rights in Saudi Arabia. Her story represents almost every other person of the LGBT community from the kingdom. One full of hope and passion, one full of desire to explore life, yet one that's attached to their family and then attached to their society, fearing that they would lose that connection. They know that they are using our weaknesses in order to exploit us. They know that their tactics have been used for so long, and that's why they were so dependent on American political fixers to lure her back to the kingdom. Because if she knew that if these people were had any connection to the Saudi government, she would have not had any talks with them from the beginning. I am sure of that. The Saudi LGBT community had an amazing stance on the 24th of March 2023, right outside of the Saudi embassy in London. They protested the kidnapping, the human trafficking of Eden. They protested and they told their personal stories. Some shared their insight, and some showed their true colors from the Saudi opposition. After Wa'ad, a member of the Saudi opposition, the Nas party, has showed up to the protest after she stepped on the Saudi flag that has been systematically oppressing members of the LGBT community and systematically oppressing the feminist movement. The Saudi National Assembly Party comes out to say that she's no longer a member of their opposition, denouncing her actions and denouncing her as a member of the Saudi opposition just because she stood up for transgender rights, just because she stood up for feminist rights, just because she stood up above oppression. Wa'ad lost her membership today with the Saudi opposition, but at least she's standing at the right side of history. Wa'ad is now demanding justice for Eden, as the rest of us are. The protest of London in front of the Saudi embassy is the least of their concerns. They should expect and understand that lobbying for transgender rights is going to be the norm. Demanding justice for the LGBT community should start now. Should have started a long time ago. That's why it's very important for the American LGBT community to unite with the rest of the LGBT community across the world, from Saudi Arabia, to make our voice heard in every corner in this world. Otherwise, we will continue to be silenced. We will continue to be killed. We will continue to be hunted. One of my role models and biggest uh, people that have influenced my life after the killing of Milk, Harvey Milk, the first elected member of the LGBT community in history to be elected for office. He was murdered. And she said very strong, beautiful words that stick with me till today. We are gentle, angry people. We are justice seeking people. We are young and old together. We are a land of many colors. We are gay and straight together. We are gentle, loving people. We are singing for our lives. By Holly Near, poet and artist that made these moving words that till today have a strong representation of the LGBT community and our morals and what we stand for. And that's why we are saying her name today, Eden Knights, and we are seeking justice for Eden. When the Saudi government doesn't know what to do, they always try to find political fixers in the United States to fix their image, to do it quietly. That's why they chose a very influential Republican, but in the same time, he wasn't famous, to lure her, to have some sort of official look to it, so it can be as deceitful as possible. Welcome, Hala. Thank you for joining the space. How are you doing?
Hi, I am good, and you?
I'm as alive as I could be, trying to hold the space for Eden Nights and let the world know what a beautiful soul she was and how many friends she had that loved her dearly and how many people that looked up to her as a role model and how much impact she made in this world and how much she will be missed. It's a very sad story. I will give you the mic, Hannah. Are you there? I guess not. Um, Let me share the space for people to know that we are here. Continues. So we have, I'm inviting members of the Saudi LGBT community to join us, be part of this conversation. That's right. مرة أخرى نرحب بجميع المستمعين الكرام في كل مكان وفي كل مكان. I welcome everyone of silence for Eden one last time to remember her, never forget, never forget how bright she was in all of our lives and the lives that she touched. Never forget how much of a difference Eden has made in this world. Never forget that Eden Knights fought till her last day. That's why we have to honor Eden Knights on a day like today. We have to stand up, and I'm very proud of the Saudi queer movement that stood up yesterday right in front of the Saudi embassy in London and demanded justice and end to the Saudi regime that has been systematically oppressing members of the LGBT community for a very long time. Eden Knight was not the first and won't be the last if we do not put an end to the Saudi systematic oppression, even abroad, to the diaspora, abroad, all the way across the nations, to the land of the free and the home of the brave. How do I know I'm supposed to be safe in this country when I was granted asylum and the Saudi government continues to kidnap and lure Saudi citizens all the way back to the kingdom just for being members of the LGBT community? One thing that a lot of people do not comprehend is the day that members of the LGBT community admit to themselves that they are one. It's the same day that they admit to themselves that they could be killed at any minute, especially if you're from Saudi Arabia. Today is important to remember Eden Nights and to say her name and let the world know that she was a bright person that wanted justice and freedom, that wanted something very simple, to live her life as a free person. But we couldn't even allow that to happen. It is sad. It is sad day for us to say goodbye. It is a day we mourn our loss and prepare for our fight for tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for hearing me out. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Instagram. Join us on Twitter. And hopefully I can see you guys under better circumstances, better day. But sadly, even the United States is no longer safe for members of the LGBT community. That's for a different conversation. Good luck, مع السلامة. Bye bye. بالإنجليزي goodbye.